I'm gonna ride on, ride on, ride on. Here we are at the Belgian Waffle Ride, North Carolina. Looks like it's going to be a beautiful day. There's a good sized crowd here as well. Temperatures are nice this morning, but they're supposed to get hot later.
3, 2, 1, andiamo! Sending off nearly 600 athletes. It is on like Donkey Kong.
And with that, we were off on our BWR adventure. Even though it was one mass start for everybody, including the pros, I was under no illusion that I was going to stay in a front group at all. There was a little bit of fog in the valleys for about the first hour of the race, but there was no dew on the roads. My goal for the first section was simply to not go out too hard. The first gravel section was several K long, and it had a couple of really steep ramps on it where traction was at a premium. The backside of this road is Jeter Hill. It's about 2K down it, and very steep, like in some cases 15% gradients, and very tight switchbacks. As you can see, there was an accident there, and there's an accident up ahead. So these poor guys went ahead and missed their turn, and their day's over. The way the out and back route worked for this race, this exact hill was about 20K from the finish line, so I knew I needed to save a lot of energy in order to get back up these 10 to 15% gradients.
On the inside, on the inside.
The second gravel section was generally uphill, but it didn't have anywhere near the steep gradients of the other ones. The gravel roads here and in the first section were all pretty well manicured. It was gravel, but it was mostly hard packed, no real sand or anything else to worry about, so very pleasant to ride on.
Rest stop 1, or aid station 1 as it may be. Feeling pretty good so far. Absolutely beautiful morning. 60s to start with, sunshine, nothing but happiness. Big group today. Really loving the course so far. So we're about a third of the way through. We'll see what's up for us next.
And the next thing for us wafers was a really tight, twisty downhill single track that had just been freshly cut. So it was really neat and a lot of fun, but there were spots where there really wasn't all that much flow yet because it just hadn't been bedded in. This is the waffle wafer split, where we're getting ready to start another section of gravel. After a brief road section following the single track, we were back on gravel. And this gravel was a little bit more chunky on the way up. And then as we're going back down the other side of this mountain here, it got very, very chunky. After coming down the hill, we still had a significant amount of gravel left in this section. I think it was like the better part of 20K long, which was really nice riding through all those woods and everything. As you can see, this section here is much smoother and more like the first two sections of gravel. Very rideable and enjoyable. Another thing that made the whole ride fun today is the fact that everything was so dry. wasn't sandy, but it was dry, so you didn't have to worry about anything being slick for your tires or going around corners or anything like that. I have to thank BWR for adding the second single track to the course. This was my favorite section, hands down. I got with this other guy that's in front of me, and we were able to flow through this like butter. It was amazing. One thing that BWR is known for is having part of the race ride through a building at somewhere along the course, and for us it was this barn.
Rider.
After the barn, we were solidly on our way back, and over halfway done. The legs were still feeling really good at this point, and I was enjoying the single track on a beautiful day, so my pacing strategy seemed to be working perfectly so far.
With the second rest stop done, now all I have is one more major hill, which is 3K at 9%. Not looking forward to it, but overall I'm feeling pretty good at the moment. Hoping that holds out long enough for me to get over that climb and then just survive the last 20K on in. Yeah, buddy. Made it to the top of that climb without dabbing. Oh, that was fun.
And now for the fun part, going back down that very first gravel section. Again, not too overly technical, but a couple of spots that were pretty high gradients. Even after pushing really hard to get up that hill, the legs are feeling pretty good. They're recovering, but they're feeling really good, and they haven't bonked or anything, which tells me that I actually got the nutrition strategy right on this ride, which made me feel even better. So really a lot of confidence at this point coming on into the finish.
Thanks for letting me know. Good luck.
Had this one last nice section of gravel on the way home. It was in a part of the course that we didn't do on the way out, so it was new. Very pretty though. Really enjoyed it. You can see what beautiful blue skies we have today.
Summit Group after him.
All right, Belgian waffle ride, North Carolina in the bag. Really nice course, really impressed with it. Liked almost everything about it. The only thing that was the only possible thing that I could talk about would be the course markings. With the course markings, they could have been a little bit better on actually flagging them on the course, because I went ahead and there were a couple of them that I missed. Otherwise, it was really cool. The gravel was really nice overall, although the announcer did lie and said there was no chunky gravel, and that's not true. There was some chunky gravel out there. Somebody went ahead and maybe thought they were doing us a favor by putting a whole bunch of loose, large rock gravel down in a couple of sections. But it was totally rideable, but it was kind of funny that they said there was no chunky gravel. One of my favorite parts on all of this for the Wafer was the second single track section. It was actually really nice single track section, lots of flow. It would have been a little bit easier to do on a mountain bike than a gravel bike, but overall I really enjoyed that section. I had another guy with me, and we went out there and we were able to go ahead and get that flow going, and really enjoyed that part of the race. So the short answer is, this is a definite recommend. I really enjoyed the course, had a lot of fun out here, and look to possibly come back next year.
I don't mind the pain.